Giants fans, we just finished week 5. We're 0-5.
Yes.
And you're watching True Blue Review. Rich?
Yes, sir.
Since we're on a down note to start the thing, why don't we talk about Y.A. Tittle and the fact that he died on Sunday?
Yeah.
90 years old.
Amazing life.
Yeah.
Amazing life. So he was on the Giants, obviously, led them to 3 championships. And of course, I've never seen him play. Because this is back in the early 60s before I was born. But I remember seeing his name in the Ring of Honor. He was where the seats we were sitting on. You could see his name right over there. But he led them to 3 championships in a row. They're kind of like the Bills. You know, the Bills went to 4 championships. And at the time, they were considered like not a great team. But in hindsight, you realize they were a great team. And of course, he's a Hall of Famer. Giants retired his jersey. So, yeah. So,
well, rest in peace, Y.A. Tittle.
Yes, rest in peace, Y.A. Tittle.
So while we're on a somber note, let's talk about the game. Let me keep going on this, and I want to segue into this a little bit. For the viewers of True Blue Review, we actually spent some time as we were driving up and also coming back. We spent some time doing some video of our trip, and we're going to have some of that in this video. So check this out. Giants fans, this is John from True Blue Review. So you say to yourself, I want to go to a Giants game this year. Well, we're going to show you how it happens all in one day. Enjoy. So it's 4:09 in the morning. Everything's packed, and it's time to pick up Rich. Giants fans, it's 4:30 in the morning, and this is part 2, picking up Rich.
Getting on the road, man.
We're getting ready to get it on.
Got my Giants mug.
Hold on, what the fuck? Here we go. Got the Giants mug. We're going. Bye. It's 5 o'clock in the morning, and we're at the pickup point with Joe. He's getting everything together, and we're going to get on the road.
So here's
See
the
you
question.
soon.
Such the way it is, man. Why? We haven't had rain in 3 weeks.
So here we are. It's almost 1 o'clock in the afternoon, and we're heading up to the 3rd level for our tickets. I'm going to give you a quick view of what it looks like from the 2nd level. There you go. And we'll be back soon.
Stop it! All right, that's all right.
Rush. You're gonna rush the ball.
Come on, baby! Bam!
Yeah! Yeah!
I want real points on this guy. I want real points in the first. We got to score on this guy. I want right here. I want to. I can't hear. They didn't touch me. Enough monkey around. Yeah.
Now that it's been over the last few games. So the game ended. It was a shit show of a game, but I'm glad we came. As you can see behind me, the parking lot's pretty much emptied out except for all the trash.
Bye, guys. Drive safe.
But I'll post some more when I get home. We're out. Hey, Giants fans. It's John back again. So we end our trip to New York, and I'm back here at home. It's 11 o'clock at night. So that's the day in the life of running up to New York in one day to see a Giants game. It sucks that the Giants lost today, but losing their receivers and all the injuries, especially Odell Beckham, they had it worse than we did. Nevertheless, we'll keep pounding on, and we'll look for a recap of the game soon. Checking out. I know. Well, it was still fun.
It was a blast. You know, I'm glad you got to hang out with Joe and his brother Vinny.
Yeah.
Fun guys, right?
Yeah, good guys.
I'm telling you, they're riot. They're absolute riot. Love hanging out with those guys. And of course, I've known Joe forever. Got to see my brother and his friend Chris.
Yeah.
So I know Chris through my brother, and of course, he was one of Josh's groomsmen. So got to know each other, and that was when we were at Josh's wedding. This is like 5-6 years ago, I think it was. We talked about, hey man, let's go to a Giants game. Let's go to a Giants game in New York.
Right.
Because a couple of the other guys that were the groomsmen, they all went to college together. They lived down in New York City. So they talked about, let's do it. All Giants fans. So finally, 5 years later, we did it. So it was a good time. It was a good memory, and now it looks like it's going to be an annual thing for us.
Yeah.
So it was a lot of fun. We tailgated. John made some sausage and pepper sandwiches. They were off the hook.
I'll tell you what, the tailgating is incredible there.
It is. It was a lot of fun.
It really was. We
really
met some
was.
good people. If you go to our Facebook page, you're going to see a live video where I took a walk around with Vinny and with Joe. And we got a little bit of video. I did post another one earlier than that. However, I suck at sound. All right, so it had no sound. Sorry about that. Anyway, we posted some photos. We've got some video. We hope you really enjoyed it. And regardless of the game, to stand up there and look down at the field at Giants Stadium, for me, that was it.
It was exciting. It was something that I've been wanting to do for a long time.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I've been to other football games, but just never at MetLife, never a Giants home game. So I'm always surrounded by the enemy when I go.
Right.
You know, so I went to Philly one time. I'll never do that again. But anyway, It was exciting to be surrounded by lots of Giants fans. And
Yeah, it was.
have everybody really upbeat and cheering for the team.
Yeah,
you know,
exactly.
Instead of me being the only guy cheering and people looking at me like they're going to kill me. There's a couple Chargers fans that weren't greeted friendly.
Right.
You
yeah.
know,
Well,
that
you know,
was a
you go into the enemy's territory. That's what you get.
Got a little testy.
Right. It did.
I didn't say
It did.
anything to anybody. I don't care, but
So, to begin summarizing this game, we saw pretty much the same thing we saw the week before, and that was disappointing.
yeah.
It really was. Obviously, we suffered some pretty heavy losses throughout the
time.
game.
Bad.
With the loss of first Sterling Shepard.
Yeah, and I don't know if that's. I think he's going to miss like one game.
Yeah, I think we're looking at 1-2 weeks, right around
they're
there.
saying.
And we'll have to see. I mean, I don't know that there's a rush at this point to bring him back, to tell you the truth. Well, again, we'll have to see. Then, right after that, Brandon Marshall.
Brandon Marshall.
Could be a career ender.
Yeah, you were telling me it was a season ender. I didn't
It
know
is a
that
season ender.
until you just mentioned
Yeah,
it.
it
And
was
since
noted
it is
today.
a season ender,
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if it's a career ender for him. Not that he couldn't maybe play another season, but I think he may choose not to. He's just kind of not. I think that he's going to think about it.
Did he sign a 1-year contract?
Yeah, I believe it was a 1-year contract.
Okay, so that may be the last we see of Brandon Marshall,
Yeah.
nevertheless.
So the whole Brandon Marshall being a Giant, which was exciting, the idea of it when you think about who Marshall was.
Yeah.
As a receiver and him being teamed up with Beckham and Shepard as the starting 3 wide receivers. I mean, it brought a lot of excitement, hey, this could be something, but then, it just did not translate onto the field.
Do you consider it a Reese failure at this point?
A
whole
Jerry Reese failure?
Yeah.
The whole thing with Brandon Marshall?
Yeah.
No, not at all.
I think
No.
as the
I think
season
I
went,
still think it was a good pickup.
I think as the season went, we would have seen more out of him.
I think he was starting to jive up with Manning.
First game was terrible with him. First and second game, but we could see even I think the third game he had a really bad drop that we really needed.
Yeah.
And maybe a couple. And same with but we started to see some progress with him. So it's really a shame because God knows we could really use that talent right now. And then of course right after that, probably the biggest loss of the season is OBJ being
Right.
out.
Well, prior to that, also Harris got hurt.
Dwayne Harris. Yeah.
Now, he's got a broken foot, so that's probably 3 weeks, 2-3 weeks.
Minimal.
I don't really know.
I don't know the extent of the break. And I didn't see
yeah.
an update on him today. So I'm not really sure. Today being Wednesday.
He actually
Or Tuesday, sorry.
His return game was pretty strong in the beginning of the game.
Yeah.
But then obviously he had to come in for Marshall when he went out, and then when he broke his foot, I was like, man, really? Wow.
Yeah,
that was
and that was
almost
why
incredible.
I didn't realize he was injured. At least I don't remember realizing that. But then all of a sudden we see Beckham back there fielding punts. So he was out obviously before Beckham was, but I didn't even realize that he was injured. Yeah. He must have just hobbled back to the sidelines. No cart for him. But and then of course Odell goes down.
Beckham.
And the thing that hurts the most is it's not a tweak. I mean, this is a broken ankle.
It's a season end, which makes me think that maybe his injury was worse than I thought it was in the beginning of the season.
Right.
You
Well,
know?
if you see the video, it's literally turned sideways.
I mean,
it's disgusting.
And Beckham is not a guy that you can replace.
No.
It's impossible to replace Beckham. I have Beckham on my fantasy team. It's like, who are you going to pick up to replace Beckham?
Not that kind of superstar power.
You just can't. You just can't do it. And it's unfortunate. Also, we can mention that even though he's not on the Giants, J.J. Watt got injured. I mean, these are two of probably the biggest players in the league.
Yeah.
To both get season-ending injuries on the same day.
Yeah.
It's really just it's not great for the league. It's kind of a downer.
Well, you know
really
what?
is.
There's so this was brought up, and I didn't dig a lot into it, and I'm going to, and we'll probably bring it up on the next preview of the Denver Broncos game. But I think the league is looking back into their rules in reference to upper body hits versus lower. There are so many lower body injuries right now that are putting people out. If I'm not mistaken, I saw something in relation to that they were going to review their policy on contact, on upper body versus lower body contact.
All I know is that these guys in the NFL that are laying these hits are not little guys.
Yeah.
And they're fast and they are strong.
Yeah.
You know, and people are going to get hurt.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, they're going to get hurt. You try to minimize it as best you can. I mean, you get the best gear possible.
Right.
You get the best, field conditions as possible. But it is really almost impossible to expect that there's not going to be injuries when you have that kind of hitting with men that are that fast and that big.
Right.
It's almost impossible.
So on the offensive side, we obviously, I mean, everything is negative right now. But a couple positives that came out of it was Orleans Darkwa.
He got hurt too.
I know, but we ended up with a rushing game finally.
Man, he had almost 70 yards in the first half rushing.
Yeah, and then Wayne Gallman comes in.
Yeah, he did great too.
I'm telling you what, that kid's got some fire.
Yeah.
You know,
They're going to need it.
You know what? I feel good about the rookie class right now. Between Evan Ingram, Wayne Gallman, okay, and then on the defensive side, we had who's the middle linebacker that came in for a couple games? Not Goodson. No, he's a second-year player. Calvin Munson. Munson. He came in, and the first game he was okay, but second game he really seemed to fit into the position.
And I'm forgetting who our second pick was. Is his name Tomlinson? Dalvin Tomlinson or something?
Darian?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Whatever.
But he's Anyway, he's on the defensive line, and he has been playing, and he's actually been pretty solid. So our rookie class looks pretty good. Unfortunately, we're going to be seeing a lot of them. So anyway, I mean, as far as Manning, also another thing I didn't realize till I read about it. Apparently, there was some concern about a concussion with Eli Manning, the hits he took in the second half. He went down pretty hard.
That fumble, probably.
Yeah, and I'm happy to say there are no issues.
Well, I think that it's just standard, for players to go into concussion protocol nowadays. But, Eli, for whatever people say about Eli, bottom line, he's very tough. He doesn't look like the toughest guy.
No.
But I've seen Eli, and the fans know, anybody that's a real Giants fans know, I've seen him take some pretty wicked hits, man, and get right up and keep on playing and never complain about it, ever.
Right.
Never complains about it. And think about, as long as you've been watching Eli play, I've never seen him, come off the field, I don't think. Like come off the field hobbling or something like that. He's tough. There's no question about it. He's Iron Man. Right now, he's going to surpass his brother this year and be the second quarterback all time, leading in games, consecutive games started. So it's a pretty nice stat for a resume.
Yeah, definitely. Going to the defensive side of the ball, probably, I almost feel like I'm more disappointed in the defense than I have been in the offense.
Well, I'll say this. Eli did not play good in the first half.
Yeah.
He did not play good in the first half. I was not happy with his play in the first half. It seemed like some balls sailed on him. Mm-hmm. He didn't get any picks, fortunately, in the first half.
Right.
But it just didn't seem like it was connected, and that was before the injuries.
Yeah.
Once the injuries happened, it really, I mean, they actually had some really fantastic play because Lewis got that.
That's right.
That passing touchdown. Of course, Beckham,
yeah,
before he got hurt, got that long touchdown pass. So the passing game did pick up, but to start the game because the Giants had that lead,
yeah,
and that was exciting. They finally had a lead in the game. They get the safety, and then they get the rushing touchdown. But then in the second quarter, they just sputtered.
Yeah,
they just absolutely sputtered. And then the passing game just didn't come together, and they allowed the Chargers to get basically right back into the game.
Yeah. Yeah, it's well, one thing about when you're going to a game and watching it live versus watching it on TV is it seems like it's a little more difficult to try and really pick up things because you don't see the replays as often and stuff like that. And yeah, I'm a little bit curious, and hopefully we can get some comments on our YouTube channel where people can enlighten me a little bit. But I'm curious as to how Blueberry, it's McAdoo, Blueberry, what did he change his, his game plan? How did this go wrong in the second quarter when the first quarter looked so darn good? I mean, did they scale back their running game and decide to go? Now we know that Eli did have, a few passes sail on him. And what was his final stat? He was 21 of 36?
21 of 36.
21 of 36. I mean, that's a lot.
It's not great. It's not horrible.
Yeah.
It's more than 50%.
Yeah, yeah, that's more than 50. So I don't know. I don't know if McAdoo changed his game plan or not. It was really difficult to be able to tell when you're up.
The other thing I was also frustrated about, and I don't know if I'm just being a fan, but I really thought that there was more than one occasion that the Chargers threw the ball away. Phil Rivers threw the ball away.
Oh, and there was no grounding
and it was an intentional grounding. It looked like that more than once. One play very specifically.
Yeah.
And then the thing the challenge was it was a third down play it was a third down play, and then they got to punt the ball or whatever. It was a second down play, but they didn't get a loss of down. I don't really know what the deal was, but the bottom line is that they were able to continue the drive.
Yeah.
And they got a touchdown, and that was just really frustrating for me as a fan.
Mm-hmm.
I couldn't see I really wanted to see the replay because I want to believe the officials.
Right.
But on those particular plays, there was three of them that I remember, but one of them really stood out in my mind. That, man, it looked like an intentional ground. I mean, God, it looked like, we were all talking about it. Everybody was, even the referees were on the field talking about it.
Right.
But no penalty. And I thought that was frustrating, not just for the fans, but I thought it was frustrating for the Giant players, the defense. I really thought it was.
We talked a little bit before this when we were actually previewing this game about how close these teams were with each other. So I wanted to run through a few stats that I think kind of really tells us that. Total yards, the Giants had 335 and LA had 382. We're looking at less than a 50-yard difference there. Yards per play, 5.1 for the Giants, 5.2 for the Chargers. First downs, the Chargers, they ended up with 21 first downs, the Giants 18. Passing yards, 259 yards for, what's his name? Rivers. And 226 for Eli. And that's with a beat-up crew. I mean, when they started going down, he started limiting his passing. He couldn't get out to anybody. Completions, we talked about 21 for 36 for Eli, 21 for 44 for Rivers.
Terrible.
So yeah, I'm going to say here, I'm going to say how disappointed I am in the defense, and I'm not changing my mind.
Well, they were dealing with a very long field, a lot.
Right.
At first. Giants were pinning them down. Their special teams were playing good and getting them pinned deep. And they did that like 3 or 4 times.
Right.
But then as the game progressed, they were getting a shorter field. And they got a couple really short fields. One ended up in a pick. So thank God the Giants salvaged that.
Yeah.
But the other one was obviously the very critical play in the game where they sacked Manning, he fumbled the ball, and they got it on a very short field and were able to score the winning touchdown.
Exactly.
That was bad.
Yeah. Now, this right here, I think, is probably a telltale also of the defense. Our offensive line, their defense had 5 sacks on Eli for 42 yards, a loss of 42 yards.
That's probably the premier stat in the game right there.
Yeah, that's my point. The Giants' defense, 0 sacks, 0 yards. That's the killer right there. And actually, rushing yards, who was the guy's name? Number 28 on the Chargers. What was the guy's name? Who ran the the final touchdown?
Gordon.
Oh yeah, Melvin Gordon. Melvin Gordon. I thought he had 250 yards the way I was seeing that guy running all over the place. And he only had a little over 100 yards, but he was still killing us.
He had some catches too.
He did have some catches as well. But anyway, we ended up with more rushing yards. But really, I mean, we don't have to run through any more of this. We gave up two turnovers. We had our first interception of the year. There you go.
That's absolutely amazing. After the year that they had last year, it's just absolutely amazing that we've only got that one pick.
Yeah, 0 sacks yesterday, 5 sacks against Eli. That was killer. And so just... I mean, break this down. Actually, the Chargers got the last laugh on DJ Fluker, too.
They should have called that one a sack because they got the safety because he batted out the end zone.
Yeah, they didn't really call that a sack, did they?
It wasn't a sack.
They didn't put it down as a sack. But DJ Fluker had something to prove against the Chargers as far as I was concerned. I don't know how many sacks went through on DJ Fluker, but my feeling was the most important play of the game ended up being the one after Odell Beckham, ended up being the fumble. Fumble. I mean, okay, so here's the deal. DJ Fluker, Bobby Hart are there. They're double teaming one guy. There's a guy on the left side of the defense and on the outside of the defensive end. He stunts around, rolls right by DJ Fluker, and boom, he's got himself some Eli Manning, and there's a fumble on the play. That was exactly why the Chargers got rid of DJ Fluker, because he couldn't pick up the fucking stunt. All right? So we already have Brad Wing in the trash can, so throw fucking Fluker in the trash can too. There's my Giants tip for the week.
It was an important play.
It was an important play.
Here's what I'm going to say about the Giants right now. They do not know how to win the game, which is really surprising. I mean, Eli knows how to win games, but the team right now, they cannot close games.
Yeah.
They had this same issue 2 years ago where they couldn't close games. The only difference was they could score.
Yeah.
They were scoring a lot of points, 2 years ago.
Yeah.
But they could not close games. I mean, they lost one game to the Saints. The Saints beat them like 51-49 or something like that. I mean, the Giants scored 49 points. Ridiculous.
It brings to mind what you said in our preview of this game. I asked you, Rich, what's this game going to come down to? What was your response?
I don't remember.
I'm going to tell you what it was.
Who's going to have the ball last?
No, that was my thought. Your thought was, it's the one who wants it the most.
Oh, the one who wants it.
It's the one who wants it the most.
True.
The Chargers were going into this game on an 8-game losing streak.
Yeah.
An 8-game losing. And you know what? And then during the game, I think throughout our discussion with all us guys, my belief was whoever has the ball last is going to be the one that wins the game. For the most part, that's exactly what it was. But I think that your statement actually really kind of, despite the loss of our receivers and everything, it really came down to those. The Chargers were behind. They were 5 points down. And they worked their ass off.
The Giants got the ball with 4 minutes left. They could have run a four. If they had a rushing game, they could have just rushed the ball. And it's not like Manning still can't, pass the ball a little bit. There's still a couple people out there he could have threw the ball to. They would have figured something out. The bottom line is they don't know how to close games.
Right.
And then you have something like you're saying, a missed block.
Yeah.
And Eli Manning. I mean, I don't care if you're the greatest quarterback on the planet. You're not gonna outrun one of these guys coming around the edge.
No.
And these are big dudes. Mm-hmm. And so he gets hit and he fumbles the ball. I mean, you have to protect your quarterback.
Yeah.
That's the bottom line.
Right.
And there was one of the fans that were talking about how Eli was washed up at that point, and I got pretty upset about it. Because I don't think that's the case whatsoever.
Yeah.
I really do not believe. I've been watching Eli Manning for a very long time as a Giants fan, and I think that, first of all, Eli Manning's going to At this point, he's probably going to be in the Hall of Fame. Maybe there's still an argument about that, but there's no question he's going to be a Giants Ring of Honor.
Right.
And in my mind, outside of Lawrence Taylor, he's probably the most memorable Giant that's played. You know. Now we haven't seen the careers of Beckham. We haven't seen Beckham's whole career. He may surpass that, but right now, it's Eli and it's Lawrence Taylor.
Yeah.
You know, those are the two guys. So you never diss your main guy on your team, man. Now he's going to get to a point, obviously, where he's going to have to retire, and he's going to go out very gracefully because that's the kind of guy he is. But I don't think that's this year.
Yeah.
It could be next year. If he sustained a significant injury, it could be any time. But I saw the way he played this week with a couple passes that he had. I saw the way he played last week, and he was fighting for it. The week before that, with the running the ball in and stuff like that. You know, he's still got some fight in him.
Mm-hmm.
So we just need to get some people around him that want to win the game. And I think it comes down, in that case, it comes down to leadership. It comes down to management
Right.
and coaching and stuff like that. So.
Well, let me give you guys an update also, because this has come out the last couple days, and I'm going to give myself a little pat on the shoulder because I already figured this one out before they did it. But anyway, the Giants have brought Tavares King back. Okay?
Yeah.
So we've got Reggie Lewis, we got Tavares King. Those two were on the team last year, and I think they were both on the team the year before that. I'm not sure. But anyway, they were on the team last year, nevertheless. And they've also called up from the practice squad Travis Rudolph, which I think we should all be excited to watch this young man play because he did so well during the preseason. Let's see what this guy can do. He's got something he wants to prove. He was not drafted. He was an undrafted rookie.
Eli has played with plenty of different receivers.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, so here's some more coming. I mean, quarterbacks are used to that. You know,
I forgot to ask you. You know why I'm wearing my red jersey today?
because you're pissed?
Because of Cruz, baby. Let's bring Cruz back while we're at it. That's what I think.
I mean,
let's have some fun. You never know.
That's actually not a bad idea.
He's
looking for a job.
He's looking for a job. I mean, you know.
I mean, even if you brought him back and he played on the practice squad, you know. I mean, but I think that you know, he could give you some time. He could give you some minutes.
Sure.
He could be a backup.
He can be a mentor too, couldn't he?
He could.
For a young man.
We'll see what happens with that. That's an interesting thought. I didn't think about that.
He can be a mentor. He can be a guy that was on the team when they were a better team.
Yeah.
And that kind of guy that can actually bring some leadership to the team. Mm-hmm. And they need that. They need that right now. You know, I'm not sure what Eli brings as far as leadership goes because he's so quiet in many ways. You know, when it's time, when it gets down to it,
his leadership isn't his play.
It really
He's
it is.
not a
That's
hype
it.
guy. He's not on the sidelines, you know, stomping
Right.
all this stuff, and you know, and bowling, and I mean, he's not that guy.
No,
you know,
his leadership is in his game.
His leadership is his example in the game.
Yeah,
and his toughness in the game.
But a guy like Cruz can come in, and I think he can help this team. Listen, what are we working for here? You know what we're working for? First of all, a win. All right, and then secondly, another win after that, and then we'll see how it goes. You know, but hey, let's see what they can do.
Unfortunately, I have to say that no 0-5 team has ever made the playoffs. You know, and I want to be hopeful, just like the rest of the rest of the fan base. Even though I know a lot of the fans have given up. You know, giving up is not a good thought process for me. I don't like the idea of giving up. But on the other hand, you have to come to a sense of reality. I think there's going to be some major changes in the Giants if they do not have a little bit of a bounce back and show some fight over the next few weeks.
Yeah.
If they don't, then I really don't think that Ben McAdoo will be the head coach next season. I just think that's the case. Mm-hmm. We'll see how it plays out. We'll see.
Yeah.
You know, we'll just have to see what happens.
You know,
I'll say this though: these young receivers that are going to be coming in, they're going to play their guts out.
Well, they want a spot, don't they?
I mean, if Travis Rudolph comes up, he's going to certainly play hard.
Certainly,
I believe that he's going to play hard.
I believe we're going to see some of these guys playing real hard.
But still, and I don't know what's going to happen with the O line and with the running game, if it's going to continue. I hope it does.
Yeah.
I was glad to see that Perkins didn't start the game. I know he was injured. If I see him come back into the game, I'm going to be confused by that because Darkwa played great, Gallman played great. To me, those are your guys. Just play those guys. I don't see why Perkins can take a bench and he can be as pissed as he wants. I don't know if he's a prima donna or what. I don't really care. It's like earn your spot. So Darkwa's getting what now? He's getting 8.6 yards a carry in the game. Goldman's getting 5.2. So I don't understand why they just don't. They need to just stick with that tandem. Forget Perkins. Forget Perkins. He needs to be benched 100%. So I think that all fans are in agreement with that. No question about that. I don't see any reason to play Perkins for the remainder of the year. And maybe sitting over there on the sideline, maybe he'll get really pissed off. I was talking to my brother. He did end the season really well last year and had some good running games, but I don't know what happened to the guy.
Yeah.
He just disappeared.
Yeah.
And I don't know, maybe he's not incentivized for some, I don't know what it is.
Yeah, well, he was playing a backup role too last year, so maybe he works out better like that than he does as a starter. I don't know.
That's true, but when they got towards the end of the season, they were playing him a lot more. Maybe he was fighting for a starting spot.
Sure.
And then finally he got it. Maybe he lost his incentive to be a better guy, to be good. I don't know what it was.
Right.
But yeah.
Well, we have Denver Broncos coming up on Sunday night. It's definitely an uphill battle to get a win.
You know what's amazing? For like we were talking about, it was all the experts, including, and the fans, based upon what happened last season and based upon what happened in the off season. Everybody thought this team was going to be amazing, and what proves it is how many primetime games. This is their third primetime game already.
Yeah,
they're only 6 games into the season.
I know, and let's not forget they're actually going to be playing the Redskins on Thanksgiving night, another primetime game.
Big time. So they really put this team in a position that, hey man, we're going to highlight this team this year. The NFL made that choice.
Yeah.
Because the anticipation was, hey, this is going to be a great team.
But it certainly heightens the disappointment.
Yeah,
it really does, because everybody had higher hopes for this team after an 11-5 season. But I think we were masked by the fact that we had a defense that was just brutalizing people. And we just don't have that defense right now.
No, and it's surprising.
You made note to me during the break that Olivier Vernon still isn't in. So, hopefully he'll be back.
I don't think his injury is that bad. I think he just needs to miss 1 game. So I think he'll be back for the next game.
Good. Well, it'd be nice to have him back. Any closing feelings about where we are with this?
Well, I'm disappointed, but I'm still a fan. I'm still going to watch every single game. I'm still going to look for what's good. I'm always going to now I'm already starting to think about what are they going to have to do right now to improve, to be a good team next year, to be a contender next year. And I'm ready to play spoiler. Hey, when they play the Cowboys and they play Philly or the Redskins, man, I'm going to cheer as hard as I possibly can.
Yeah.
They win those games.
Well, and that's the way I feel about it too. And I'd like to close this before we give our thanks for all the viewers we have and all those that take care of us. There was a quote that a friend of mine, Knight is my buddy's name, and sent me a quote where no hope is left no fear. So think about that for a second. This team, they pretty much have no hope for playoffs at this point, but play with no fear.
I hope they play with no fear.
Play relentlessly.
I hope they're fun to watch.
Yeah, that's the way
they
I look at it.
They absolutely have nothing to lose.
And every game should be played that way. From this point on, every game should be played with we have nothing to lose, so let's leave it all on the field. If they don't want to play for this coach, then play for the fans. Play for yourself. Play for your pride.
Sure.
And that's what it's about. So with that in mind, I want to thank the viewers. I want to thank the people that we met in the parking lot over at Giants Stadium. Our buddy Joe for driving.
Thanks, Joe.
Yeah. And Tin Cannon for some good beer. Big Blue Nova for following us. We're going to be back with you guys. And that's all I have to say about it. Go Giants. Let's get one win.
Over and out, man. I'm picking them against Denver.
You never know.
It's happening.
It's happening.
It's going to happen, man.
All right, hang in there, fans. We'll get one.
Thanks, fans.
We're out.